Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if I am personally ready for today's challenge, but you know what? We're gonna dive right into it. So for today's gratitude challenge, day 12, it's experience. And just like the title says, I'm gonna be talking about being a mom. And it's been the best and hardest challenge of my life. Not just the mom part, but also having my son. And then it's totally different than I expected. And the things that are challenging are also not what I expected. So I'll start from the beginning. I'm not going to give a ton of detail. I can do separate videos on those things. But just to kind of give you some background and give you some perspective on why exactly when I say how much my son means to me, that you can understand where I'm coming from. So I was in a previous relationship, and I had a miscarriage. We had given the baby a name and all these things, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. And then going back to the doctor to kind of figure out what was going on, after having multiple miscarriages and things happen, I was told that, literally, she said, kids will probably never happen for you. So I dealt with that in my life years ago and moved on. I started a business. I decided I was going to make my life as full as I could with whatever I could. And so that was emotionally probably the most raw thing I've ever gone through. It grits at you in ways that, unless you've gone through it, you have no idea. And then fast forward to other relationships where things would happen, and my husband now and I were having a conversation years ago when him and I were first starting to get to know each other, and he was telling me how many kids he wanted, and he was so excited. And I looked at him and I said, look, I don't think that you and I should end up together or be together because I cannot give you those things. Little did I know that I was saying these things, and 2-3 years later he'd be the person that I'd have a kid with. So we were getting married, we were engaged, we were planning everything, found out I was pregnant, and my whole pregnancy was incredibly challenging. I was nauseous, I was sick, I went into preterm labor at 22 weeks, and I was hospitalized, and then on bed rest for the rest of the time. And then his birth was also incredibly challenging. It ended in an emergency C-section where the cord was wrapped around his neck twice, around his body, crushing him. Every time I was having a contraction, I had a bad reaction. My heart rate tanked. Harvey didn't breathe. It was a lot going on. He was in the NICU. All these things were going on. I thought after all of that, I was like, I got this. Being a mom is going to be easy. I was extremely prideful in this. And I used to judge other moms harshly before I was a mom. And then I had my son, and I was like, I got this. Breastfeeding was hard in a way I didn't expect. I had blood blisters. I couldn't make enough milk. He had a poor latch. I saw consultants. I did this, and it was so stressful. The hormones of going from pregnant to not. I was losing my hair. I was in such traumatic stress. I had so much postpartum anxiety that my marriage almost ended because it was so bad for both of us. And then he was a year old, and I thought things were going to be soaring. He was walking, and I noticed that he wasn't really talking the way he should. So I started working with him. I started doing these things, and he's making vast improvements. But everything I just told you, my son, after everything I went through, my son with his speech delay is probably the most mentally, emotionally, physically challenging and humbling thing I've ever gone through. Now, I can say that I'm grateful for everything that I went through. It made me a stronger person. It made me a more understanding person. It made me a kinder person. And I'm genuinely grateful for it. But I did not expect my son to ever have an issue ever have a problem, ever, or not a problem because I don't see it as a problem. But I think there's so much taboo around motherhood, and we're all expected to be perfect, and we're all expected to like never complain, do all the housework, do everything, and just get it all done and be perfect and happy. And that's not the reality of being a mom. The reality of being a mom is you are everything. You're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a caregiver, you're a housekeeper, you're a maid, you are everything for this person. And no one's qualified for this. Nobody has been prepared for this. You can think you are, and then when you actually have a kid, come back and talk to me, and then you'll see that like it's just crazy. My whole point is the expectations of what I thought motherhood was going to be, pregnancy, having a newborn, having a toddler, it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. And it was emotionally really hard. It was one of those things where I was humbled amazingly because my son was walking at 10 months. My son was eating really well. Okay, so my whole point of this is that I went from having one expectation to realizing and dealing with all of the challenges of having a kid and being pregnant. And then he was doing great and all these things were happening. And then I get to this point where Harvey wasn't talking at all. And the words he was saying, he wasn't enunciating, and they weren't exactly. And it was one of those times in my life where I felt like a failure. I was like, I obviously am not reading enough books to him. I'm obviously not doing this enough. And I took it all on myself. And when really, there's nothing wrong with any child. There's nothing wrong with them. This is just how they learn and how they develop. And it took some serious humbling for me to realize that. My brain hurt so bad from how much studying I was doing on trying to figure out how to help my toddler talk and speech therapy, and going to a speech therapist and realizing that wasn't the best and he does better at home and all these different things. But I'm actually grateful for all of those experiences. I'm grateful that all those things were so hard because now I'm so grateful. I have a genuinely wonderful connection with my kid, and he gives me so much joy and love, and I would not have those things unless I personally had gone through that. I was able to soften my heart to be a better mom for him. And for all of that, I am so grateful. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't hard, and it doesn't mean that it's not okay that it was hard. Because growing is uncomfortable. Learning is uncomfortable. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is meant to be uncomfortable. And I don't want those things to be taboo. I want us to talk about those things and have them be real and raw and okay. And you can own your truth about how uncomfortable something was, and that be okay. You have every right to feel how you feel and express those things and move forward in those. We all can learn and grow, and that's something that I am truly grateful for, and it has brought in so much peace into my life. I hope that you guys all can take something from this video. Let me know what are some of the hard things that you have gone through, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.